So today we're going to talk about getting ready to receive the right man for you, and you need to do these 5 things. And before we get started, I just want to share with you that I saw this title on Stefan Speaks YouTube channel. And while I briefly watched it, I realized I had a completely different take than him. So I'll be sharing my perspective on this particular title. And let me just say this. It is absolutely okay to want a life partner. Let me repeat that. It is absolutely okay to want a life partner, to desire that, to make effort to make it happen in your life. What's not okay, and this is a judgment, I'll be candid with you. What's not okay is chasing somebody, chasing their affections, trying to convince someone to love you, holding out for someone to love you, or operate from a place of desperation, or worse, operating from a place of jadedness, okay? And sadly, we have a significant percentage of the population that is deeply wounded from past relationships, and they haven't done these 5 things to prepare themselves. So this title is all about getting in that preparedness state to attract the ideal partner in your life. Well, since I mentioned chasing, I want to share with you, I shared this the other day, but I'm going to repeat myself. This was my Instagram post, and this was my post on YouTube for New Year's Day. And the meme, and what I typically do is I post a meme, and this is critically important to this conversation. So stick with me here for a second, and I'll get to those 5 things in just a moment. Okay. But what I typically do is I find a meme that's a quote that I like, and then I write a short blog on it. So the quote goes like this: maybe it won't work out, but maybe seeing if it does will be the best adventure of your life. Okay, that's the quote. Now, my blog on it is the following, okay? In the past few months since my relationship ended, I've received dozens of DMs respectfully expressing romantic interest in getting to know me. While such a gesture might offend some folks, and I was thinking how women get offended by men who slide in the DMs in their Instagram, whatnot, I see that it takes courage, particularly for a woman to reach out to a man. I think that takes courage. I said, in my book, it takes courage because rejection will most likely result in what I mean to say, if I don't express interest, they're going to feel rejected. But they go ahead anyway. My friends thought I was a fool to begin my coaching practice 15 years ago, and I'm one of the top coaches in the country for my niche. Taking a chance might be one of the greatest gifts we give ourselves. And think of the story you get to tell if you take a chance. May 2024, not May 24, may the year 2024 be the year you take big chances, especially when it comes to love. And so I'm here to say is, before you take big chances in love, I really want you to metabolize what I'm about to share with you. I want you to let it sink in. I want you to let it marinate, because this is so critically important for relationship success. I can't begin to stress the importance of these 5 things going forward. And since this is the new year, and if you're watching this video in the middle of the year, it doesn't matter, because it's a new adventure for you today. I want you to embody these 5 things. So here's my notes. I'm going to share that with you. And I'm going to read from my notes. So the first thing you must do, it's a moral imperative for your relationship success, is being your best self, being your best self. Now, the way I look at that, and I wrote this down, is including a being in a good place in your physical world. Now, your physical world might be where you live, the profession you're in, your physical health of your body, being in the best place you can possibly be at this moment in time. Now, that's always a moving target, but are you in a good place physically in your life? Physically, again, is the world you live in, your profession, your physical body, your profession. Did I say that? And your location. Okay. In addition, it includes your emotional well being your best self emotionally. And what that means is healing from the past, And more importantly, I'm a big proponent of a daily practice of personal development, self-help, and spiritual work. If you're not familiar with the book, if you're brand new to my channel, oh, I forgot to turn off the ringer on my phone today. I highly recommend reading the book, The Hoffman Process. By the way, in the link below and in the comments section, you'll see all the links I'll be recommending today. This is a deep dive into healing your childhood wounds and adult traumas, not so specifically for relationships, although it will give you a guide into healing your past relationships. I can say with a fair amount of certainty, I believe there's something like 100 million singles in the United States. I believe that to be true. Can someone look that up for me really quickly? I believe that's the case. I venture to say 80 million of them are emotionally wounded. They're emotionally constipated. They're emotionally a train wreck. And by the way, I'm speaking to you because I'm also speaking to myself. You see, the reality is many of us have done little or no work to heal the wounds of our past relationships. And it's no wonder. What's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting different results. Dating the same guy, just a different haircut. The same guy, just a different haircut over and over again. So if you really want to be ready to receive the right man, and by the way, everything I'm sharing here, men have to do this too. If a guy is watching this right now, you don't get off. Well, you can get off whenever you want. I mean, what I mean to say, you're in this same boat, because a woman who does these 5 things, you better be with a man who's done these 5 things, ladies, because you are wasting your time if you're with a man who hasn't done these 5 things. Okay. So the first thing, being your best self, Number 2, now I wrote this down. Clarity on relationships in general, and how to vet for compatibility. Folks, you guys, I got to tell you something. Most of you have this pie in the sky fantasy version of what a relationship is like. And men have no fucking clue what they want in a relationship. They're just winging it. They're just like, if I just meet a warm body and they work out, this is perfect. Guys are just fucking clueless. But Jonathan, all the other coaches tell me to sit back in my feminine energy and let a man lead. And the red pill community tells me that the men are the leaders of the relationship. And my job is just to submit to a man because they all know what they're doing. Well, if that was so fucking true, then why do 80% of or 75% of divorces are initiated by women if men are so good at this? Why do you give the leadership role to the wrong person? You are in charge of your relationship destiny, not a guy. But Jonathan, I'm more attracted to a guy who's a leader. I'm more attracted to that. Listen, I'm not suggesting that you play either the mom in the relationship or the doormat in the relationship. I'm here to encourage conscious partnership with another human being. I'm here to encourage conscious attachment. I'm here to encourage a different way of going about it. And when I said earlier, it's not about understanding relationships, it's understanding the vetting process. Folks, it's insane out there. I mean, it's a clusterfuck. With these devices, we now have access to hundreds of thousands of people, hundreds and or thousands of people. And then you're talking to 5 guys and he's talking to 5 different women, and maybe you're talking at the same time, but then you get distracted and you go over here. I'm just using dating sites as the example, but it could be even in real life. It is absolutely confusing. And you spend time texting someone, and after a while, you're like, they're fucking boring. Or, God, we are so not on the same page. See, understanding vetting is all about knowing who you are and what you want, and then asking the right questions. I advocate for something called radical honesty, laying your cards on the table and the rules of engagement at the very onset. Because if you don't operate this way, what's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting a different results. And then pretty soon you're like, fuck, I don't want to. Wait, Leaf says, what's with the extra swearing tonight? I'm letting it all out. Number 3, how to meet and how to flirt. Folks, you got to listen, whether we like it or not, Prince Charming, you're not going to the ball and hoping that your slipper falls off and he finds you, okay? Or that's not how it worked. I'm sorry. Yeah, well, that's kind of how it worked. But it's not going to work that way. You have to make effort. I give credit to the women who at least made effort to, they're like, hey, Jonathan's an interesting guy. Let's see if we're a fit with one another. Okay. I mean, yeah, it's a risk, but you got to put yourself out there. And if you're going to put yourself out there, you better learn flirting techniques, because the reality is folks, when you're meeting, here, I'm talking to the microphone. When you're meeting a total stranger, without that spark, without that flirtation, without that cuteness, without that silliness, do you know why so few women get a second date? Because they weren't very fun on the date. I got to tell you something. I've gone out. Oh my God. I went out with one woman. She walked into the restaurant. I swear she had resting bitch face. I mean, the look on her face, I thought she was going to crap. Her ass was so tight, you could put a coal up her ass and there would be a diamond in a few hours. Oh, and God forbid, you go on a date with a woman. And by the way, you ladies have had the same issues with men. They're boring. They're all about themselves. They're rude. But I can't tell you how many times I've gone on a date with a woman. You could see every guy that's ever hurt her standing right behind her. It's like you could just see the wall of men that have hurt her based on the way she communicated. Folks, you got to learn how to meet and how to flirt. This isn't my area of expertise, okay? I'm not here. My coaching is all centered around that vetting, that clarity process. That's where, by the way, there's a link below to schedule a discovery call with me to see if working with a coach is right for you. But you got to learn this skill. It's a skill. Whether you like it or not, it's a skill. You can be angry, but Jonathan, I want it the way it used to be. I want the olden ways. I want it to be easy, because it seemed like, folks, yes, I recognize in olden times, people mated within their tribe. It was easy. There's 150 people in the tribe, 75 women, 75 men, some of them little boys and girls, some of them senior citizens, and a lot of people, there was young boys and young girls, of which there were 20, and they mated from that group, okay? We don't live in that environment. You cannot keep hoping for some fantasy. But Jonathan, magic fairy dust always works, because if I fantasize about it enough, folks, inspired effort is going to get you what you want. Effort. Number 4. Okay, look, you met the man of your dreams, okay? He's the greatest guy on the planet. You're the greatest woman on the planet. But if you don't know how to, and here's number 4, how to maintain and make a relationship thrive, you're fucked. I'm sorry. You don't, like, let me think of, Here's a book. Take out the word marriage and replace it with relationship. 7 Principles for Making a Relationship Work by John Gottman. By the way, link below to get the book. If you don't, and he doesn't know how to make a relationship work, why is it that second and third marriages end at a rate of 65 to 75%? You would think you would be better at it. Well, we're older, we're smarter. No, the older you get, the stupider human beings are, because they make stupid choices based on chemistry without true compatibility. If you're not familiar with my relationship iceberg, here. Most of you are familiar with it. Okay, above the waterline is attraction. That's what we say first. Compatibility is shared values along with a shared vision, blendable lifestyles, and more importantly, emotional maturity. And we're swimming in a sea of emotional dysfunctionality. By the way, I get so hyper, I yell at the top of my lungs because my role here on this planet is to be the wake-up call, to wake humans up. By the way, if I'm doing a good job saying, put in the chat box, yes, you're doing a good job waking us up. Okay, so within maintain and make a relationship thrive, it includes conflict resolution skills. I'm going to repeat that. Conflict resolution skills. Regular intimate time. You should be fucking on a regular basis. It's important to have sex on a... I'm sorry, Jonathan, that was so offensive to say fucking. Okay, for those that felt offended by it, making love all the time. Couples that make love at least 3 times a week have the greatest chance for a relationship success. I know one couple who said that we never go more than 48 hours without physical intimacy. We never go 48 hours. So that works out to 3.5 times a week. Okay? Regular intimate time. Also teamwork. But Jonathan, I'm in a long distance relationship and we spend hours upon hours upon hours on the phone. And we've been in this relationship for 5 years, but we still never met each other. You know, I got to tell you something. When I hear stories, like, you guys are so fucking insane. How you call it a relationship, but you've never met the person, or you call it a relationship, but you see each other once or twice a year. I get it. It's in your mind, but those are cyber relationships. I'm here to talk about those people that want to spend on average of 3 or 4 days and nights a week together, doing shared activities, hobbies, mutual interests, spending time with family and friends, traveling together, teamwork, building skills, both in their personal and their professional life. Intimacy, both physical and emotional intimacy, that leads to something serious. You got to have play. You have to flirt. You have to integrate into each other's lives. And you need to have this awareness before you go out there in the dating marketplace. You should be have a PhD at this shit. Okay. Number 5. Bump, bada, bump, bump, bump. Number 5. I want you to write this down. Someone write it down for me. Enter the vortex and the vibration. Enter the vortex and the vibration. So, what is the vortex? What is the vibration? If you really want to attract and receive the man of your dreams, you have to be in the right vibration to attract them in. Think of it like a tuning fork. Think of it like a tuning fork. Yesterday, I shared with everybody that I had a 6-hour conversation with a woman. And while it isn't going to go the distance, or it's not going to turn into a date because there is a geographic challenge, I had one of those amazing conversations where it was so synchronicitous, so aligned. It felt like I was on a seesaw and she was talking and I was talking and she was talking, and it was respectful. And I made notes of what it felt like afterwards, because this is being in the vortex. So beside the fact that she recognized me professionally, she immediately called me handsome. Now, to us Leos, Hey, we love it. Okay. The ladies, I got to tell you something. Men get so few compliments. So when a woman throws out an attractive, the word attracted or handsome, I mean, that's like ding, 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 ding. She was easy to talk to. It was easy to have this conversation. She talked with me and not at me. We seem to share the same values. We seem to have a connection with the divine. We even talked about sex a little bit and we were on the same page. I was very attracted to her and she was my body type. Like, I mean, for us guys, this is important shit. She was flirty, cute, and silly. Oh my God, when she laughed, she literally had one of those snorts in the when like the laugh, and then there would be a snort. Oh my God, I thought it was adorable. And she said these things to me that were so cute. She said something like like the highlight of my day is going shopping and doing the dishes with my partner. I said, stop talking dirty to me. This is pornography. Because those are the things that I like to do too. I'm very simple. I don't need to be going out on it. I'm a homebody. In fact, she was a homebody. She had a normal and average childhood. I figured, like that saves a lot of frustration in therapy. She was open for full commitment. We both shared our same views on politics and religion. She was open to spiritual journeys. Most of you know I like to do plant-based medicine journeys to explore deeper consciousness. She's laid-back lifestyle, and she respected our communication. She did something. She said something during our conversation. She said, am I talking too much right now? And I just go, holy fucking shit. That's ninja level awareness, to be aware of that. Why I'm sharing this with you is I am so grateful for this experience. It's to be, so if you're in a state, if you're in the vortex and vibration, it's about being, recognizing what you want to feel and be in a state of gratitude for this. Many of you will get so hung up and start to try to manipulate and try to figure out how to make this work. It's like, this was a 6-hour relationship. It had, the first date was 2 hours. The middle date was 2 hours. And our last ever date was 2 hours. That's it. And that's okay. But I'm in the vortex, being in your vibrational state. And most importantly, being in a state of gratitude. God, universe, spirit, I am so grateful for all the experiences I've had to this point in my life. Every single relationship that I've had, whether it was the first girl, my first girlfriend, Sherry, whether it was my ex-wife, Erin, whether it was the woman that got me involved in this business, Allie, whether it was Angela, whether it was the other Sherry, M, and whether it was Marie or even this woman, Nina, all of them were part of my experiences. And I'm so grateful for every single experience because it is preparing me to receive. And I invite you all to look at your past relationships and get into the vortex of gratitude, because every relationship is preparing you for this new relationship in your life. God, universe, spirit, I invite that in for myself and everyone else watching. Is this sinking in? Is this resonating? Please let me know. If it is, I'd like to hear your thoughts. Post a comment below. I do my best to read them all. And if you like this video, please hit that like button. Please share this video. Please subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell as well so you can be notified of new videos. All right, bump, bada, bump, bump, bump. It's time for Q&A. For those who know my format, if you have a question, write the word question, then post the question thereafter. Or you can purchase a super sticker, super chat. There's a little $sign in the chat box. All the monies from the super sticker, super chat goes to a scholarship fund in the name of my son, Connor Aslay. That's him right there. Little salty there. He passed away over 5 years ago. In his honor, we donate to causes like the Hoffman Process and Insight Institute. And we also goes towards scholarships for coaching with me. So our goal, so hit that little $sign. If you're watching the replay, hit the super thanks. By the way, our goal is $50 tonight. $50. Come on. Let's get some love in the house. Okay. Emily, who's a coach, says each person we meet can help prepare us and help us to become better. If you haven't seen, someone write this down. If you have not seen the Netflix series called Black Mirror, there is an amazing episode called Hang the DJ. Hang the DJ. Hang the DJ. Who is that? The Cure? Hey Google. Hey Google. Who sang Hang the DJ? Hang the DJ. Panic was recorded by the business. Oh, it's recorded by the business. I had no idea. Okay. So, Hang the DJ. Great illustration of why everything happens for a reason. Okay. By the way, to one of our Facebook members, by the way, the dollar sign is only on the YouTube live chat, not in the Facebook group chat right now, okay? All right, I saw, Melanie is in the house. Do you think we can be blocking what the universe is delivering? A great 6-hour conversation and vibe might be worth exploring. Okay, if I didn't illustrate this before, I made the overture for wanting to explore the relationship. She said she wasn't interested because she needs to be within 2 hours of her family at any given time. So I put the effort out there, but you see, here's the thing. When it's right, you don't have to walk, like I'm kind of dramatizing this. You don't have to walk through glass to make it work. It's just, you have to recognize that when we chase impossible situations, that the universe isn't saying, try harder, try harder, try harder. The universe says, try. It's kind of like, it's kind of like you try. If it works, great. If it doesn't, don't get attached to the outcome. Folks, I've been rereading the book, If the Buddha Dated. I highly recommend reading it. The link's below, okay? Highly recommend reading it. Now, one of the primary reasons why I want you to read this book, it throws out all the bullshit gender rhetoric, the gender role-based way of dating. I am so fucking tired of gender-based way of dating, because guess what? If gender role-based dating was so fucking great, why do we have such a high divorce rate for second and third marriages? Why are relationships miserable if gender roles are so fucking great? Okay? Do you know what's better? Read this book, Spiritual Partnership by Gary Zukav. Read this book, 7 Principles for Making Marriage Work by John Gottman. Read this book, 8 Dates by Doctors John and Julie Gottman. Fuck gender roles. Read this shit. Remember I said the first thing on my list? Well, I said being your best self, but how to maintain and make a relationship thrive. It's not about gender roles, but Jonathan, I'm just supposed to sit back in my feminine energy. I'm too much in my masculine, and it's turning men off. Well, if you're turning men off, it's probably because you're a fucking pain in the ass. Okay? Stop being a pain in the ass. And by the way, guys who are listening to this, stop being assholes. You guys are dicks. Dudes, I'm speaking to the men who might be watching this right now. Listen, dudes, you got a first date coming up, I wished I could be there on that first date for that woman. Okay. I'd have my shotgun pointed at your face and I'd go, what's your fucking intentions with my little sister, with my niece, with my daughter here? Because you guys are being dicks right now dating. It's all about you getting off and you only care about your own needs. Not all men, but a lot of guys, okay? A lot of you guys only care about yourself. And you're irresponsible because feelings matter. So I'm going to read to you. Okay, I'm on a roll here right now, but I'm speaking to guys right now. This was from Jillian Turecki, who I interviewed on my channel. She said, relationships need safety. We create safety for each other by being honest, consistent, communicative, present with each other. We are a safer partner when someone can be their true selves with us. And I went on to write, by the way, so I went on to write the following. Conscious dating differs from conventional dating because it sets a standard of intentionality, respect, and protection. You see, our current dating environment is based on let's wait and see if this is real, with the mindset of only meeting one's own needs. It's centered around what can I get instead of what can I give. Basically, it's all about me versus we. In contrast, conscious dating starts with an intentional mindset. Are we a fit for one another? And being careful that going in physically before true emotional connection and commitment has been established could end up with hurt feelings. It recognizes that words matter because they demonstrate integrity. It leads by being protective of the other person emotionally and physically. By the way, who here agrees? By the way, if you'd like to read this post, click the link to join my Instagram. It's in the description below. Okay, I went on a rant, so there we go. Gina says, sadly, most here are probably in the vibration. No, Gina, the people in vibration are not here. I'm sorry to burst your bubble here. The reason why you're following my channel is because there's a lot more work that needs to be done to get into the vibration. Everybody thinks they're the exception, and that's why they're not as happy as they'd like to be. Anyway, that's my point. All right, Elizabeth's in the house. A guy says he wants to take it slow. Been cheated on twice and coroners. Wait. And corners Amy more stress. I don't know what that is. Can he eventually come around? Doesn't like to talk about the past. Okay, here's the deal. You say, look, you can take it as slow as you want. When the penis only gets to go in the vagina when you clearly want to court me. When you clearly want to court me. What did I talk about? Where's my all right, so this was my notes from last night's video. By the way, I throw all this shit on the floor. I'm glad I did. Look here's the deal. You want to go slow? No problem. We can go as slow as you want. Your penis doesn't get to go inside my vagina until you go all in. Explore, and all in simply means we're going all in to explore a relationship together. This means emotionally, physically, logistically, spiritually, and financially. So you can go as slow as you want. You don't get the vagina until you go all in, until you declare, until you court me, motherfucker. By the way, okay, I'm pretty hyper tonight and I'm cursing a lot. So obviously I'm riled up here today. But I hope you get the gist of where I'm going with this. It's when I curse, it's about making a stand for your sovereignty. It's about making a stand for what you truly want in relationship. I just don't want, I'm yelling and I'm screaming and I'm cursing just to make sure you hear me. Is this sinking in? Is this resonating? Please let me know. Hey, Jenny, thanks for the $5 super sticker. Margaret, big hugs for the $15 super sticker. I really appreciate it. And I'm glad we worked out that issue. I apologize if I seemed rude. I try to read these comments and sometimes I pass by them. I miss them. It's not that easy. They're popping up on the screen like you can't believe. But thank you, Margaret. I appreciate the love. Power of Chi is in the house. What do you think of the Netflix show called Love on the Spectrum? Have you ever dated a woman that was on the spectrum? Well, first off, every woman is on the spectrum. I mean, you guys are all, I mean, what, you know, I mean, I think every woman is insane. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Okay. I've watched the show Love on the Spectrum and I fell in love with it. Who's that kid from Australia? I think is Michael. Oh my God. He's just, he tries so hard. I think he's so adorable. I think every human, okay, let me just say this. Those are legitimate young adults with whether it's Asperger's, whether it's some level of autism or whatnot. But I would say emotionally speaking, every human is on the spectrum. Emotional maturity, relationship skills. This is not a fact, it's merely an opinion. I believe 20% of the population has clinical issues when it comes to their emotional maturity and relationship skills. And while I say here 20% is healthy, I'm being generous. I really have no clue if it's even close to 20. Most everybody is dysfunctional, so we're all on the spectrum to some extent. But thank you for that post, Power of Chi. I really appreciate it. Emily says, what are the top 2 books you recommend? Well, let's start with my book. What the heck is self-love? Anyway, a journey of personal development, self-help, spiritual work. Link below to get a copy of my book. The book, you know what, folks? 2 books. Okay? 2 books. I've got dozens of books. I love The Untethered Soul. It's not a dating and relationship book. It's a mindset book. It's a book for your soul. Okay. Untethered Soul. And then I'd come back to, if you really want to change your love life, read The Buddha Dated. I love this book. I've read it several times now. I'm just rereading it. I've just finished listening to it again. Well, I read it first and I'm listening to it again. I've got so many books to recommend, but those are 2 that are that's just top of mind right now. Okay, Evelyn, I'll get to your question, but NW, what's a pain in the ass example? You know what? Okay. Does anyone know this song I'm singing? If you know it, post it there. We're going to have a little contest. It's on my mind. I love this song. Okay, the book, The Rules. Oh my God, this stupid fucking book. It teaches women stupid game playing. Don't text, don't do this, don't do that. Make the guy chase, make the guy do all the work. Those are examples of pain in the ass. I can't stand non-responsive people. And I personally can't stand women who aren't inquisitive. That's a pet peeve of mine. So those are just a couple things, but the book, The Rules, teaches a big chunk of this book is all game playing, and that's pain in the ass example. Okay. Question from Evelyn. He was involved with me. He was in love with me. I'm going through a divorce. We can't leave each other alone. We start chatting again after trying to leave each other alone. Started chatting again. Now he's so formal. Why? He's in love with me. Well, you're going through a divorce, so you're not 100% available. Actually, men who date divorced women, they do it because they know you're not available. And when you become available, they do an exit clause. Folks, you shouldn't be sleeping and having sex with somebody who is still married. But Jonathan, my marriage is going through. If you're going through a divorce, just remember that you're not clean. And I mean emotionally clean. Most people need a couple years after a divorce to be in a good state. If you're still entangled with another human being, he just might not want to be involved with that entanglement. That's just one possible reason. You guys are probably together because the sex is, oh my God, Jonathan, the sex is the most amazing I've ever had. Oh my God, it's unlike what I ever had because I was in a loveless marriage and I never had really good sex before that. And the sex wasn't good in my marriage. And all of a sudden, this is the best sex I've ever had. We can't keep our hands off each other, but are you guys really building the deep roots of trust? Are you doing it through teamwork, social activities, hobbies, mutual interest, spending time with family and friends? Or do you just get together and have sex? And the minute it becomes a little bit more emotional, he gets formal because he doesn't want to go there. Anyways, that's just some rough ideas. Hey, Margaret just gave us a $15 super sticker. Is that a new one or second? Well, I can't keep track. Thanks so much. Facebook member group. By the way, if you want to join my private group where you can have direct access to me on a regular basis, check out the link to Midlife Love Mastery. We have a Facebook group. I interact with members. I post things. They get advanced videos compared to other videos I post. It's a great way to stay connected with me. And she says, conscious dating differs from conventional dating. Exactly. Elizabeth is back in the house. How do you deal with someone that wants to take it slow? Oh, we already did this. Bump, bum, ba-da-da-da, dun, dun-da-da, bump, ba-da-da-da-da, dun, dun-da-da-da, dun, dun-da-da-da, dun, dun-da-da, dun, dun-da-da-da-da-da. Bump, bump. Hey, Gina just gave us $1 super sticker. All right, I'm looking for questions. No, it's not Tequila. It's not Love Bomb at La Bamba. It's not Pee Wee Herman. I got my head out the sunroof. I'm blasting our favorite tunes. You're the only one I've got on my mind. I love that song, Sunroof. I've got my head out the sunroof. I'm blasting our favorite tunes. You've got okay, Laura's in the house. Question, I preserve my cookie. You have to be very special to enter. Well, that's not a question, but thanks for making the statement. Evelyn says, thank you. You're very welcome. Emily, I am sorry. You have to keep repeating questions. I just can't see them. Unless the word question is there and post the question, I sometimes miss them. There's a lot of stuff going on here. Let me go back. Oh, here we go. Got to write the word question. It makes it easier for me to find in all caps. Curious about this. Do some men not like kissing? Why would they not want to kiss, but they're perfectly fine with sex? Is it intimacy issue? You know what? I'm not a behavioral scientist, particularly in this area. So I'm just going to give you my rough ideas. Okay. Most guys have sex just for the purpose of ejaculation. Okay. Most guys have sex for the purpose of their physical orgasm. In addition, a lot of men will want to make sure you have an orgasm because it's actually an ego boost for us. If we feel like we could get you to orgasm, it's an ego boost for us. So it's a lot of ego-based ejaculation, having pleasure, you feeling pleasure. Okay. So just understand that probably 80% of men operate from that. Very few men know true lovemaking, know true intimacy in the bedroom. Very few men know true intimacy in the bedroom. Okay. I'm smacking my lips, by the way, for that person that keeps reminding me. Okay. So kissing. Think about the movie Pretty Woman. Okay. Does anyone remember Pretty Woman with Julia Roberts and Richard Gere? And she happens to be a sex worker, and she goes up to his penthouse room at the Beverly Wilshire Hotel. And the first thing she says to him when they're about to have sex is, no kissing, no kissing. Like, it's interesting that this was okay, but kissing was not okay. Kissing, actually, it's funny how we've reduced kissing to a non-intimate event. I think kissing is one of the most intimate things you can do with another human being. And some men are bad kissers. Some men have bad breath. Some men can't stand a woman's breath. Well, let's not go down there about that breath. So anyway, those are just some rough thoughts, the top of my head of what might be coming up. But again, I would speak to somebody who specializes in that area. I just can't tell you why. Look, I love kissing. Oh my God, I fucking love kissing. It's been 6 months since I've really made out with anyone. Who here misses making out? Raise your hand. Say, I miss making out, because I'm raising my hand. I miss making out. I love making out. Bum, bum. Beach Lover says, Jonathan has an earth earworm. I've got my head out the sunroof. Exactly. Okay. Oh, God, I got some food in my mouth. Question. I know you said no penis in the vagina, but what about heavy petting like first base, second base, third base? Is heavy petting off the table too? Sorry, I got something in my tooth. You know, you got to do what's right for you. I mean, the problem is if you're heavy petting with the wrong person, it's a letdown. If you're heavy petting with a person incapable to commit, it's a letdown. If you're heavy petting with somebody you're never going to see again, that's a letdown. I'm here to encourage, folks, many of you know my significant relationship ended roughly about 6 months ago. And I haven't gone on a date. I haven't kissed anyone. And I really don't plan on doing duty dating, circular dating, numbers way dating. I have no intent to do tradition or the current dating practices. Okay. I really only want to invest my body, my soul, my spirit to someone who has strong potential. So I'll be vetting them heavily before I invest my physical presence with someone. And I hope she has done the same. And I hope we have a synergetic meeting. And then if we explore a physical, intimate relationship, we do it with consciousness. I'm here to promote a more intentional, conscious way of dating using radical honesty. I told you about a 6-hour conversation. It was so easy to ask really tough questions. It was so fucking easy. But Jonathan, that must have sounded like an interview. No, I was interrogating her. I'm kidding. Folks, it is so easy to have conversation talking about real shit. If you need some help with that, check out the link below to a discovery call with me. See if working with a coach is right for you. One of the exercises I do with my clients is called radical honesty. It's learning how to come up with questions based on your personality. Anyway, Power of Chi, I hope that helped. Thank you so much. Jane Spitfire says, and I quote, does a checklist help of things you want from your man and then try to find them face-to-face online? So, okay, so here's my checklist. Here, I'll give you my checklist. Where is it? Oh, I left it down there. So the problem with my checklist, shit, it's downstairs. I wish I had it right now. None of it you'll find out on a first date. Let me reframe that. Most of it you won't be able to find out on a first date. Okay. The challenge with a checklist is if it's things about financial stability, you could find that out before a date. You could get a sense of someone's financial stability. And that's critically important for those of us in midlife. You could get a sense of their politics and their religion before you meet someone. That's something easy to do. Where else? You could ask value-based questions. You could get some of those. But how a person treats you is not something you can find out through a checklist. You see, the most important thing is, how do they treat you? That's something you can't find on a checklist. Okay? All right. Anyway, those are just my quick thoughts. Barbara is in the house. Would you mention the no sex policy till ready to go all in during the first phone call? No, you know what? Here's the thing you do. Don't tell a guy your rules. Just embody your rules. And you just say, hey, before I get, and I wouldn't say this on a first phone call or a first date, but at the point two people become amorous, you can say, hey, look, before I become physically but someone write this down. I'll say it slowly. Before I become physically intimate with somebody, I want you to know something about the way I operate. Okay. I only am physically intimate with someone where we're both monogamous with one another and we're exclusive with one another. Where I only become physically intimate with when we're monogamous with one another and we're exclusive with one another. And more importantly, we've built trust together through a variety of different activities, spending time together. You don't need to give a timeline. Does everyone get that? It's a simple, this is the way I operate. Then you go, how do you operate? Oh, I like to fuck on the first date. Okay, well, it's not how I operate. Well, I like to fuck on the third date. Well, it's not how I operate. I need to feel safe with you. And if you're not willing to invest that with me, then I'm not willing to go any further. Oh, and by the way, I have this dating coach that told me about these things called the dating vows. Okay. By the way, there's a link below to get a copy of my dating vows. Okay. Barbara, before I'm physically intimate with you, here's the vow we need to recite to one another before your penis gets to go inside my vagina. We agree to explore the process of getting to know one another with the intent to declare something serious within 3 to 6 months. We agree to be monogamous sexually while we're having regular sex together. We agree to not actively seek to meet and date others while we're in the dating process, including taking down our dating profiles. We agree to speak up if this isn't working for us versus ghosting, pulling back, or disappearing. We agree to invest regular time together in the process to get to know one another. Now, a big chunk of guys, probably could be up to 90% of men, will just go, I don't have to do that. There are so many women who have sex with me on the first date. But Barbara, you are setting yourself apart. And a guy with class has no problem. A gentleman has no problem agreeing with this. If he sees your value, if he feels aligned with you. Okay. Elizabeth's in the house. Okay. Is it okay to say, how do you view us? Because I have to be vulnerable to get to the truth. How do you view us? Because I have to be vulnerable to get to the truth. I don't get that question. Tasha Dresser is in the house. I have difficulty revealing to someone about my learning disability and list without being misunderstood for it, and the person jumping to conclusions. Any suggestions? So, well, I would suspect that your lisp would show up during a telephone call. And I believe the first phone call is the first date. So I suspect you probably, I'm just speculating here, you spend a lot of time emailing and texting someone to build a sense of rapport, I suspect, okay? But which I can understand why you would want to do that. But the reality is your truth is going to be there at some point. So you can just be, I don't know if when it feels right, but I would say you probably need to explain it before you meet someone, I would suspect. I don't know what other learning disability, you have. If it's material to the okay, so here's my rule of thumb: transparency. If it's material to the relationship, be upfront about it. Okay. Just remember that there has to be some amazing chemistry for the two of you for him to go, you know what, I could give a shit about the list kind of thing. There has to be that first date, off the charts kind of fireworks happen most likely. And when it's not, it's kind of a challenge. I mean, I don't know how to best help you here. I wished I had a better answer for you. My job is to teach you how to vet people. I'm not necessarily the best at techniques. It's just not my skill set. Okay. But I hope I gave you some insight. I hope I provide you some value, Tasha. The other thing is to date people who you are in your daily life. They already know who you are. and already like you for who you are. That's the challenge when we're meeting total strangers, that they don't know who you are and they don't like you yet. That's the challenge. So that's how we change that challenge. Elizabeth says, so the penis doesn't get into the vagina, but tongue kissing is innocent. I didn't say that. I think tongue kissing could be more intimate. Marianne Sennett, question, if they're a bad kisser, would that be a deal breaker? That's a personal question. Oh my God, I once had this terrible kisser. Our first kiss was the first time we made out, it was horrific. It was just bad. I really thought I was in high school or something. And you know what happened? We met up again, and but the sex was great, and then the kissing got great. I don't know how to answer that. You got to answer that for yourself. By the way, I think we're like $10 away from getting to our goal of $50 tonight. We need some love. Hit that little dollar sign. Donate to the Connor Asley Scholarship Fund. Holly says, I love kissing and I miss it. I get it. I miss it too. I'm just got that song in my head. I bet I got it. By the way, go look it up later after this video. It's called Sunroof. S. Williams is in the house. Dated someone. Is it Serena Williams? I don't think so. She's married. I dated someone last year for a few months. Was a great. Then he flaked and decided, got distance, and he wanted to be friends, like text friends. After a month, I dropped him. No more contact. Was I wrong? Here's my rule of thumb, folks. If you met the love of your life tomorrow, is this person still going to be in your life? That's my rule of thumb. If I met the love of my life tomorrow, will every past person I still have a connection with still be in my life on some way, shape, or form? And it just depends on what that looks like. That's the way I answer that question. It's not about right or wrong. Diane just put, per Matt Kahn, genius questions from him. You want this kind of man. I can't remember the context he said that. By the way, Matt messaged me for New Year's and I messaged him back. Great guy. Barbara says, thank you. I'm vetting a guy in 10 minutes, so I'll stop mentioning this on those first phone calls. Yeah, that's not a good time to do it. You just do it when the penis starts getting closer to the vagina. That's the time to establish your rules of engagement, okay? You don't need to say it ahead of time because that's a turnoff. Abigail says, can the 100 hours being reinstated with someone you've been intimate with in the past? The sex has clouded the view of what the relationship is. So for everyone, she's talking about, I've always said it takes about 100 hours of face-to-face time to build the first layer of trust. By the way, if you're not familiar with Jay Shetty, he wrote a book, The 8 Rules of Love, or The 8 Ways to Love, or something like that. But I was watching a podcast of his, and he was talking about it takes about 40 hours of face-to-face time to build, just to begin a friendship, And he says it takes about 200 hours to build a strong friendship, 200 hours of face-to-face time to build a strong friendship. Can it be reinstated? You know, it's hard when that barn is left when the horse has left the barn. But yeah, if you're both conscious at it, yeah, it can be reinstated. Elizabeth says, what is the best way to ask someone what they want between the two of you? I'm curious. How do you envision our relationship? What do you envision our relationship? What is our relationship and how do you envision it? What is our relationship and how do you envision it? What is our relationship? How do you envision it? That might be a good start. Lindsay. The first question, first phone call, gay first date. If it doesn't go well, do you cut it off politely? You know, see, this is the tricky part, folks. Most of you don't really know how to listen to your intuition. Your intuition is screaming at you. When a first phone call doesn't go well, it's a sign, probably misalignment. But Jonathan, you just never know. You see, we've been indoctrinated. Folks, the most dangerous, you just never know. The most dangerous four-letter sentence, four-word sentence. You just never know. The most dangerous thing on the planet, because what it does is you go out, you find out it's miserable, and then you got reinforced. You don't need to figure it out. You need to learn how to trust your intuition. That's my invitation anyway. This is the problem with dating. This is why I've spoken to women who have gone hundreds and hundreds of first dates, because you just never know. They're not listening to their intuition. They're not listening to their gut. They're not operating with intentionality. They're not operating with, they're operating so ambivalent, so naive, so ambiguous. And what's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. Hey, folks, I know there's a lot more questions that come in. Look, I hope you found value in this video. I love sharing my perspective. I hope I'm making a difference in your life. If I am, I would love you to donate to the Connor Asley Scholarship Fund, because we'd like to give some money away. And certainly we use it as scholarships as well. Folks, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for following my channel. As I've mentioned before, I'm going to start shooting videos for men. Everything I've shared tonight is both for men and for women. I hope I'm making a difference to everybody. I hope 2024 is your year of attracting amazing partnership love in your life. I invite that in for myself. I invite that all for you. God, universe, spirit, I invite in for myself and everyone who follows me to experience a juicy, delicious, healthy, happy relationship where they have amazing chemistry when they meet and the energetic connection is off the charts and they can communicate consciously, effortlessly, free-flowing, and the banter can go on for hours and hours at a time. And the ability to blend lives is effortless, to join in each other's lives, and the capacity to share the same values is aligned there as well. And that we and everybody can build the deep roots of trust through social activities, hobbies, mutual interests, spending time with family and friends, traveling together, teamwork, building skills, both in our personal, our professional life, that leads to a relationship where we either move in together or get married on a legal or spiritual level. God, universe, spirit, I invite that in for everybody. Can I get an amen? Can I get an amen? Elizabeth says, great live. Thank you. Beach Lover says, will you let us know the links? I will absolutely do that. I'm just writing the content now for those videos. Let's see what else. Amen, amen, amen. Hey, I love the little Turkish, the evil eye there. I say Turkish evil eye because my heritage is Turkish. I like that little symbol, the evil eye. All right, we're going to wrap up this video as we always do. First off, give myself a big, gigantic Jonathan Barrick of self-love. I'm going to reach into the camera and give you a hug of love, if that's okay. I'm asking you to turn to someone, a pet, a teddy bear, a pillow, and give it or them a hug of love, because hugs are a great source of love. And let's face it, we could all use more love in our lives. I want to thank Barbara and Foxy Lady and MJ and Come On Ellen and MJA and Diane and Power of Chi and Cass and Ozwoman and Sunny Days and Vocalist and Elizabeth and Beach Lover and Margaret and Emily. I mentioned Billy Lynn. Leafs was in the house earlier. J Knot, Diane, everybody. Oh, Hazel Chicken. Everybody, big hugs. Thanks so much. Wishing you a fab evening. Bye now.